Simon's in Southampton. Hi, Simon.
Ben, before I make my point, Donald Trump not being racist, isn't this the man that is famed for not letting his properties to people of colour?
Is that correct?
Yep, if you look it up.
So you would say it's not just a case of him trying to appeal to a sort of an undercurrent of racism amongst voters, as Jason was suggesting. You think he is just racist?
I think he's one of the most racist people on the planet.
Donald Trump, okay.
Right, now,
Back to Farage, go on.
The problem is, now I'm a cabbie or Uber driver. I talk to a lot of people, all walks of life, yeah? Now, what we have here is a problem of ignorance. And I'm not going to call people stupid, although I'd like to. There's two types of Farage people. One is a cultist. They're just in the cult. The man can do no wrong. You've got a couple of callers, one of them being from Golders Green, that calls every time this subject comes up and thinks that the man has... He's actually on. He's called in this afternoon, Simon.
Is he?
Yeah, there we go.
Speak to him in a bit.
Good afternoon, Daniel. Oh, my God, what is wrong with you?
But Daniel,
anyway,
but let's not pick on Daniel, because Daniel speaks for, if the polls are right, Simon, 30% of the voters in this country.
Now, you see, this is where people like... Now, I mean this with love in my heart, Ben. But this is where presenters like yourself, all LBC presenters, are letting us down. Because the very first question you should be asking anybody that is in favour of that man, there's two questions.
Go on.
The first question should be, great, glad you like Mr. Farage. Are you happy to pay for your health care?
Simon, let me pause you there, because rather than me do this, do what you want me to do, I'm going to let you do it yourself, if that's all right. Because you mentioned Daniel in Golders Green. Yeah. Here he is. Afternoon, Daniel.
Afternoon, Ben, and good afternoon, Simon.
Simon's got some questions for you.
Good afternoon. So go on,
Fire away, Simon.
No, go on then. What is it? What is it that you're not happy about that you can tell me that is the answer to our prayers? Because I'm telling you now, I hear you all the time. You are wrong, my friend.
Okay, well, it's not just me, Simon. It's 4.1 million votes. It's 4.1 million voters who voted for reform at the general election, and it's 235,000 members who. Hang on.
You're all either wrong.
Simon, let him respond. Go on, Daniel.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben. So, Simon, the reason why Nigel Farage and Reform are so popular is because they're doing something very simple. And that very simple thing is they are listening to, understanding and addressing the concerns of ordinary people who've been ignored, disregarded and frankly insulted by the established mainstream politicians for decades. People who have been taxed into poverty, who've been hit with relentless tax rises, rules, laws, regulations. People who've been completely ignored, and that's why they're so popular.
Simon?
Right. First of all, the reason why taxes are so high because we've just had 14 years of austerity and a Tory government. That's point one. So Farage is capitalising in on that.
Simon, there were some questions you wanted me to ask people who support reform. Why don't you put them to Daniel directly?
Yeah. So my first question then, I mean, I could elaborate on my points. I still say you're wrong and you're all in a cult or you're all ignorant, but that's for you to work out. Question one, are you or any member of your family that holds the same views, are you looking forward to the absolute destruction of the NHS, an Americanized insurance model being brought in, losing your house if you break your leg like they do over there? Are you looking forward to that policy?
No, Simon, I'm not, because frankly, that is outright disinformation, because Reform have officially stated that under Reform, the NHS will always remain free at the point of delivery. What Nigel Farage has said is that people like me, for example, and my family, who can afford private health care, should. And why is that a good thing? Because it relieves the burden of the NHS. People like me who can afford to pay for private health care, I don't want to burden the NHS. I want the NHS to be available for people who can't afford it and need it.
Question two,
we're in
Simon.
a situation now where some people that can't afford to lose their heating allowance have lost it. So, these blanket policies don't benefit.
But Daniel's responded to why he's not worried about the NHS. What was your
question
other...
two? Question two. A £68 million value man, probably didn't phrase that very well, is the current deputy leader or chairman of the Reform Party, who is a climate change denier, because probably say probably, is in the pay of fossil fuel companies. And
you've got to back that up, Simon.
Right. Well, I say allegedly then. His partner has left this country. His white English partner has left this country to become an immigrant in Dubai. And it's come to light that his climate denying policies don't actually extend into his own personal businesses. He is making a mug. I don't think you're
talking about Richard Tice. I don't think he denies climate change. He says that it is. He's sceptical. He's sceptical of the extent to which it's man-made, and he's very against net zero. But let's let Daniel respond to that. Daniel.
Thanks, Ben. Simon, so two issues to address there. First of all, Richard Tice, Deputy Leader of Reform, is on record, he's on TV, on camera, agreeing that climate change exists. He says that the climate has changed for millions of years. What he doesn't believe in is that taxing people and introducing net zero can do anything to change the climate and help improve it. The second thing is... he's not wrong. The second thing is that you say he's worth 68 million. Who knows what he's worth? What we do know is that he successfully ran a huge multinational house building company. He built thousands of homes. He employed thousands of people. He quadrupled the share price of the company. He understands what it is to build bricks and mortar, to employ people, to pay taxes.
Just Daniel, briefly.
Why is that a bad thing?
I think Simon's saying people who are as wealthy as Mr. Tice and Mr. Farage, can they truly understand the needs of working class people in this country?
Yeah, Ben, that's a very fair point. I believe they can, because they can walk into any pub in the country, into any bar. They can talk to people on the street. Nigel and Richard go around the country from Devon to Dundee, from Aberystwyth to Aberdeen. They go around and they talk to people on the street. They go into shops. They know what it's like. Keir Starmer is totally out of touch, and Labour are frankly hypocrite.
Daniel, appreciate the call. Thank you very much indeed. Daniel in Golders Green, Simon in Southampton. Very different views on Nigel Farage and Reform UK. Which side of that debate are you